rip him out of the car. And I go, well, I asked him to step out of the car. So,
Very gently.
so he gets out of the car. Well, look, back there, that's all it was over there, you know? So it was like nobody really cared, you know? Nobody was looking for 250s or anything like that.
250s, you mean a stop, question, and fisc report.
Plus, we knew where the gang. We saw him coming out of the building. We know the building.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Off the Cuff. It's me, your host, Mark DeMeo, my co-host, my partner in law enforcement,
Bill Cannon.
What's up, Bill? And today
doing?
we have a special guest with us. He's best known in the neighborhood as Detective Pat. What's up, Detective Pat?
Hello, how are you?
A legend in El Barrio.
Detective Pat Porteous,
In my own mind.
first grader, retired first grader.
He did 30 years, actually 27, but he had 3 years in the Navy swabbing decks.
So you were in the Navy. Let's start from the beginning. So you were in the Navy for 3 years?
4 years. You can only buy back 3 years in the police department, though.
Why is that?
I'm not sure. That was the maximum I could buy back.
So you bought that back, so that was included in your time. So you actually spent 27 years on the NYPD.
Yeah, and I got a pension for 30.
Yeah, that's good. That's a pretty decent thing that
He
the
was
job
a
does.
great deck swabber in the 2-3, too. He did the squad's floor. It was unbelievable. It sparkled.
Are you a neat freak?
No. Another guy I worked with was, though. He was, he had that, what do you call when you wash your hands all the time?
OCD.
OCD, yeah. Remember?
Obsessive compulsive disorder.
You know the guy I'm talking about, right?
So he had the OCD. You know, because when you spend a lot of time in police precincts, you realize how disgusting they are.
Oh, my God.
And it's up to you. Like a firehouse is always clean. Because those guys stay there 24 hours a day, and they're always cleaning. And now police departments, they never clean. They got two guys in there.
Gross,
they don't know
man.
how to clean, and those are the guys in charge of cleaning.
You know there's no milking stations for the women now in the precincts? You got to have a place to breastfeed now.
Is that right?
Yeah, there's a big class action lawsuit.
Okay, so
So it's going on right now. It was in the paper the other day. I think there's like 10 women involved in it right now. They're supposed to have a room set up just for breastfeeding. So
How you
now there's
supposed
a
to do
room.
that while you're working?
Can it be like what they do in the precincts is what's it called? Breastfeeding thing? What's it called?
Milking stations?
Milking station / CPOP office.
no, it's got to be just designated for.
That's
that.
what I'm saying.
Like the juvenile room. It's
Yeah.
got to be just designated for.
But most of the rooms in the commands are like / juvenile
crime.
room / anti-crime room /
yeah.
holding cell. It's like there's like so, but that room has to be designated. I can almost bet it's going to be the tiniest room you ever seen in your life. It's going to be the slop sink
And
closet.
they can't use the room for anything else but that purpose?
Yeah.
Will anyone actually use it, or are they just suing to have...
They're probably trying to get money, or I don't know. They'll probably use it. There'll be somebody using it. One girl was saying, "Oh, I got to do it out on patrol in an RMP." You know, of course, she got some kind of infection in her nipples because she doesn't. If you don't do it often,
Hey, I'm
you
getting
train it.
I'm getting excited.
Let me see. No, you get some kind of infection, and the females get them in.
Yeah,
Their
you got to get it
nipples.
loose. It's like it's like a guy. You know, if you don't jerk off within like 2 or 3 days, it starts
What
building
about
up.
when you're working at midnight and you get a Woody at 0400?
You got to drop the beat. You got to find a room, or wait for your partner to fall asleep.
Is that called a milking station too, or what?
So okay. So in every precinct now, they're going to have a designated area where women can breastfeed. I mean, it's going to be used.
Yeah,
It's going to be used. It's, there's always at least one, possibly two. It's part of life. It's like you got to have it, do it, but it's going to be a small room, I would imagine.
I wonder if the private sector is
They have them too.
forced to do this
Yeah,
too.
absolutely. You got to have it,
Well,
especially if you want your employee to come to work while they're pregnant. Because otherwise, you're paying somebody to stay home for 9 months. So, yeah, man, I'd give you a milking station, whatever you want. You want to do yoga in there, too, TV. Just come to work until you have to.
Well, they got
You can't
shooting
anymore.
stations too now, right? You could shoot heroin and there's like
In the precinct? In the precinct
that
that have those?
station set up in the city.
Yeah, there
We
is.
could go shoot
There
up.
Of course, there should be. There should be those too.
I thought.
But I mean, listen. I mean, it sounds absurd, but just think about it. If there was a place where junkies can go and shoot up, and feel comfortable doing it, and chill out in there, make it as big as possible so they all go there. We all know where they are. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to worry about needles on the street everywhere. And you take the eyesore off the city. Who gives a shit? Give them that fucking place on 34th Street. What is that place? Where they hold
Madison
the
Square
giant,
Garden?
No, the giant exhibits over there on the end, over there. On 11th Avenue by the water. What's that place?
Javits?
The Javits Center. Give them
the
a room
Javits
over
Center.
there. Make it the junkie room. Fuck it. They all go there. We'll know where they are.
Yeah, you could do poo-poo in the street now too.
Put toilets in there.
You could urinate, right? You could urinate. You could do poo-poo. No, I'm serious. It's disgusting.
There's nothing a cop can give you a summons for. They should just throw the fucking books out.
You know, when I go into the city these days and I take the subway, I see people just jumping the turnstiles without any fear of any retribution.
Pay your fare.
They're not paying. They're not paying. And that's going to be another thing when the MTA has $1 billion shortfall. Well, they're already doing it. They're talking about congestion pricing. Let the people that drive cars, that pay taxes and obey the laws, let them pay for the people jumping the turnstiles.
Yeah, I guess. Well, that's why it keeps going up. I guess, right? The people who pay, and I don't understand where the money goes either. Nothing ever gets better, ever. When you watch, when you see footage, or you go to another state and you see the way their mass transit works, it's beautiful. It's spotless. Right. You know, you come to ours and you actually see rats walking down the street carrying pizza, going down the steps.
That was
pizza.
some
I
rat,
think the
man.
crime really went up recently in the subway too in New York City.
Again?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, because of what?
Because just quality of life stuff, you know, that they're letting slide by. And they just had a homicide with an MS-13 guy.
I was
On
in
the train
Queens,
getting
yeah.
stabbed, right?
No shooting.
Shooting.
Was it shooting?
Yeah.
It was another 20-year-old from a
The
rival
other thing
gang.
is if you
Because
can't,
that's an important factor there. It's another 20-year-old from a rival gang. All right? So that's what it is. We're having gang wars. Since when did that not happen?
yeah, but if you can't
What the fuck
enforce
is the difference if it's the Bloods or the Crips or there's always some gang shooting going on. As far back, you guys are, how long we got? 30 years we got amongst us here.
In the 2-3, it was loaded with gangs, these young punks from different projects, different sects. Like one project would be shooting against the other one, and the next day they would come down and they'd shoot one of their guys. It was endless, remember?
the
all that?
3-2 had tons of them too. Money over bitches, you know,
Yeah.
mad money, murder.
There's
they had all
always
these-
gangs trying to pretend like we're
ABM.
going to get to a point in time where, okay, we eliminate the MS-13. We're going to kick that complete. There's always going to be another gang. That's what people do.
Right. It was the same thing with the cop. You saw the Indian cop that got killed in California last month?
Yeah,
He
yeah.
got killed by an illegal alien.
Yeah.
An MS-13 guy, and he was actually Indian. He came through the system the correct way, and the guy that killed him was an illegal immigrant gangbanger.
Yep, that's the tale right there. That's the both sides of the story.
What I was
And that's
trying to
what
say
happens.
before is that the police now are not allowed to enforce jumping the turnstile as a theft of service, which is a misdemeanor, which has implications to it, meaning they get search incidental to lawful arrest. If someone jumps the turnstile now, it's a civil matter. They don't have search incidental to lawful arrest where you can come up with guns and knives and all other bad stuff. So they don't have that law on their side. So cops aren't stopping people that jump the turnstiles anymore.
Well, you got like, you know, they have that saying. What you know, if you see something, say something.
Right.
So now you got somebody that sees something. So they go to the cop and they go, oh, that guy looks suspicious over there. So the cop has to stand there and go, yeah, he does, doesn't he? Because he can't do anything either. I can't go over there and start talking to this person based on a suspicion. I have to wait for him to commit a crime. So what's my function here? What's my purpose? If I can't go there, and if I see somebody that looks suspicious, something's up. You know what I'm saying? I have to be able to articulate why. Because now there's no stop, question, and frisk anymore.
Right.
How can you? Well, not every single mannerism. You know, there was something in his eyes. You know, that's you
Right,
write that on a
something in
report.
his eyes.
But that's what you go by.
Right?
The hair raises on your arm. You know something's not good here.
Well, till crime goes all the way back to the way it used to be in the early 80s and the mid 80s, they'll never go back to it because the media and the left took all of these great tools away from the police department. Stop, question, and frisk. And I noticed that you said stop, question, and frisk. You didn't say stop and frisk, which is a popular thing the media always says. They leave out 33 1/3% of it. They leave out the question because they're so stupid. They don't want to say that because questioning can raise the level of suspicion to frisk. But they want to leave that part out because that's what the media does.
Yep, that's what the media does, right, Detective Pat?
Yes, sir.
So let's go back to you. So, what year did you graduate? So you were in the Navy, and then
Did
you
I
did
just
your-
go back to one thing?
Yeah, go ahead.
There was a guy that jumped the turnstile in 125 in Park and Lexington, and by the transit grabbing him and locking him up for TOS, the guy was wanted for a homicide. In the
TOS,
19th.
theft of service.
Yeah, the guy was wanted for a homicide in the 19th. You remember that?
Yep.
That's how they found the guy. Because the guy jumped the
You
turnstile.
got a summons. Well, that's the way things happen. And what Bill is trying to say, and that we all of us understand, is that when you take away a police officer's ability to, you know, to protect and serve by going through by intuition, by suspicion, by watching people, you can't just be. You got to be proactive in some manner. You can't just be
Yeah, but
reactive.
they don't want that anymore. That's
They want you
not
to sit there, stand there, and then you don't do nothing until somebody
you're
says
a
that
report
person.
taker.
They want you to do
Yeah.
dance moves, sing songs,
Yeah.
and make videos.
You're a report taker.
I want to get to where we got, how we got Detective Pat here. You did the 4 years in the Navy. What year did you go into the police academy?
86, July 15th.
All right.
890. No, I'm kidding.
Was it a big company?
It was like 2,500.
Yeah, I was at
pretty big.
$3,000. We were 3,000. Did you graduate at the
When-
Garden, Madison Square Garden?
Yeah. When did you come on?
92. You said 86, right?
Yeah.
Did
July
Frankie
86.
sing in New York, New York at your graduation?
Yeah.
Are you kidding about that?
Well, it's a recording of
Oh,
Frank
yeah,
Sinatra.
okay,
It's
okay.
not him. He didn't
Yankees
show
do
up.
that, too.
Yeah, he didn't show up at the Garden.
No, I thought maybe, you know, because sometimes you may get. I was like, really? That happened to you? So you graduate, you go upon graduation.
I came out and went to NSU 4.
What did NSU 4 cover?
That's the, well, it has a variety of precincts. It's Manhattan North. And,
Is that the same one you were in?
yeah, I was in the same
it's
one.
from
yeah.
59th Street North to the 28, 2820, Central Park, 19th, 23. Central, I think that's it, right?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
So
Did you make any collars in NSU?
oh, yeah, my first collar I was on Pressure Point was the worst post in NSU.
What is that pressure point?
It was over in the 28, over by,
2-8 covers what?
what is that, from 110 to like 120?
Yeah, it's the center part of Harlem. Yeah. But it was all the heroin addicts with the elephantitis, remember?
Yeah,
that?
there was a lot of junkies. The 28 was off the hook. It was pretty busy over there. A lot of shootings and murders and robberies and stuff. But I had a foot post over by the mosque on 116 and 7th. So this male and female black come walking across the street to me, and they're arguing. So they come over and they're arguing. I can't remember what they're arguing about. But the guy goes, I don't give a shit. And he takes his hand out of his pockets, and 2 decks of heroin drop on the floor. So I just got out of the academy. I thought it was some kind of test. I was like, yo, what's this, right? I never even seen this shit before.
Uh-huh.
So I pick it up. I put it in my pocket. I hold on to the guy. I call the sector car up. So they come over, guys from the 28. And the guy goes, what the fuck are you doing? You taking this fucking shit? He goes, now I got to be tied up for like 2 hours helping you. So he came in and he helped me with the collar, but he was pissed because usually they're looking for the big
weight.
key.
The weight. The weight.
Yeah.
And 2 decks they're like $10 a piece.
Yeah.
I don't know what they were back then, but that deck is $10.
Yeah, it's bullshit collar, but I didn't know. I was right out of boot camp, you know?
Yeah.
I had no clue, but the
you know
guy was
something?
pissed.
If you don't do it the right way, though, you could get in trouble.
Yeah, I didn't know if it was some kind of test or, you know, it was a real collar.
So your first collar was a drug collar?
Yeah.
It was a bullshit drug collar. It was,
I had no clue what I was doing either,
uh-huh.
Because I didn't like making drug collars. I like, getting a robbery or something like that, or a shooting or a stabbing. I tried to stay away from drugs.
So once you got out of NSU, where'd you go?
I stayed there. I stayed in the 19th precinct. NSU turned out of the 19th precinct at the time. We were on 94th Street between 1st and 2nd. It was a temporary headquarters.
Okay.
So I stayed there for about 3 years. I stayed there.
And the 19th goes up to what?
That goes to 96th Street.
59th to 96th.
59th to 90. That's a good precinct.
Oh,
Back
it's
then,
the
though,
Upper East Side.
the 19th was busy as hell. It was like the
Really?
robbery
It was
capital of
Yeah,
Manhattan North.
they used to get a lot of robberies because they got
All the rich people were there.
the train station over there on 59th Street. They used to get a lot of perps from Brooklyn and stuff running through there, doing robberies. And they used, they used to get the cars, the parking lot robberies
Right,
downstairs.
yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
They had a couple of patterns with that. Robbing luxury cars,
Yeah,
out of
Porsches
parking
and-
garages.
Oh, yeah.
They'd actually have robbers go to the 19th just to get Rolexes. Mm-hmm. And they'd follow people with Rolexes and they'd gunpoint them.
One of the first foot posts I had was down by Bloomingdale's, and the sergeant goes, "Yeah, you got from 59th to 63rd Street," and I go over there, and some lady comes out of the place. This is getting off track a little bit. She just got her nails done. They're all wet. And she goes to me, I was standing right in front of Bloomingdale's. She goes, "You know where Bloomingdale's is?" It was right behind me. I was leaning on the wall. And I was like, "No, I don't know where it is." And her nails were all soaking wet. But the next day, like a couple of days later, I get another post over there. And they had a pattern where the guy took a pickup truck with a bunch of perps. And they backed right into like a fur store.
Yeah.
And they would load all the furs on the truck, and they were going across the bridge.
I mean, they would drive it right through the window.
I'm going to tell you, I'm going to let you know a little
couldn't
surprise. Those were guys that I grew up with from my neighborhood.
Really?
I know them very well.
Are you serious?
Absolutely.
I had to stand in front of that store for 8 hours.
That's the Tellier gang. Rob, that's the Tellier gang.
They were
Yaks. That was that.
Oh, they were yaks?
Yugoslavians, Armenians, Croatians, and Serbs. That's what they were.
Well,
yeah.
the one that did that, the Fur Vault, the people that were responsible that far back as I can remember was the Tellier gang. Robin Tellier, then it was Robert and Rennie, and they were all up. They got hit with the RICO Act.
Right. What are they, Albanian?
I don't know. I thought they were like Black Irish.
They're from your
No, there wasn't just one team though. It was a lot of teams doing.
Well, that time you're talking about, that's the time that they were hitting.
early
I'm like
90s.
90. I'm pretty 99% sure that I know what you're talking about. But anyway, they got hit with the RICO Act, and they were all they've been up in jail in prison for close to 30 years now.
Wow. Yeah, that was a while ago.
So you're standing in front of the Fur Vault. What happened?
No, I had to stay there because it was a broken window. They backed the truck right through the freaking paint.
They used to drive one truck right through the front window, and then the other one back in, and they used to fill that other one back in. And what they used to do was, they used to go on the rooftops. So if they're doing a place on the east side, they'd get an unmarked car back then, whatever it was, a Grand Fury, and they get a bubble, and they would drive it right into the projects, nose first, into the wall, put the bubble on top, and then call a 911 call. So you'd have every cop in the city driving over there. There's a Grand Fury that hit the wall there. There's a bubble on top. Where are these cops? While they're doing the Fur Vault robbery on the east side. And they also had the guys with the walkie-talkie talking back and forth. They knew the 911 codes. They knew everything.
No, I remember that because I was in street crime at that time.
He used to escape in a Monte Carlo Super Sport. That was his car of his choice.
I thought it was the Grand National.
Well, it could have been too.
I remember something about a Grand National.
Yeah, one of them could have been. It was either one. But
the last I heard of that whole story, I was still on patrol. I was a rookie. They were the perps are from Queens.
Yeah,
and you're just filling in the blanks for me.
Yeah,
it was a black
car. He used to drive. He never stopped. He'd get the car as fast as he can get, and he would never stop, never press the brakes from the scene until wherever they were going.
Now, was it his car or was the car 16?
Everything was stolen. Everything was a prep for the
He
job.
loves using codes. Bringing back 16, the code for
That's
stolen
funny because it was
car.
1986. So you're working in the night. How long were you in the 19th for?
I was there for about 3 years, and then I heard that the task force was having study tours.
Yeah, I was in the task force too.
We were doing that that scooter chart. I think it was a scooter chart or
Yeah,
nine squad chart.
Yeah, it was like
We got to do midnights like every
week of
4
midnights.
What was it
2
like
weeks of days
every 2 months?
No, 2-day tours, 2 4 to 12s, and a midnight, right?
No. This was weeks.
No, 2 weeks of day tours.
Yeah,
2 weeks of 4 to 12s, and a midnight. You started all
right.
over. Yeah.
It was messing people up.
So
man.
what happens in the 19th? The 19th is loaded with fixes and hospitals, so you don't get a seat that much. So, like, if you're a rookie,
A seat, you mean you don't get in a patrol car to drive around for your tour?
so you go there and you're sitting on a perp or an engine cop in one of the hospitals. You're sitting on an EDP. You're sitting in one of the 6 booths that they got there.
They had missions, like the Soviet mission, Chinese mission, and they had to sit there, you know?
Yeah, so you would never get. And plus, going around the clock, I could have went to the task force and got steady either 10 to 6s or 6 to 2s.
So was it Manhattan North Task Force you
Yeah.
went?
So that's what I did. I went over there and I did 6 to 2s with a piece of the weekend.
Yeah, I used to do 6 to 2s in the task force, but I did it in Queens.
Oh, all right.
I did it in the Queens Task Force, and I always have a habit of getting to places while they were still good. So I got there. We used to roll out of the 111, and it was all of us together. The whole Queens Task Force was out of the 111. And then like 6-9 months later, they broke it up. Maybe it was a year later, broke it up north and south. And I wound up getting south. And meanwhile, you wanted north because north was the better food in Queens. That was the 110, the 115, the 114. And instead, I got the 103, the 105, and the 113. That's
Well, Manhattan was like that, too. It was Manhattan South, Task Force, and Manhattan North. But we never hardly went down to the South unless it was like a demo or some kind of parade or something like that.
I think you'd probably prefer Manhattan North, wouldn't you?
Oh, yeah.
They used the task force up in the 3-4 when the 3-4 was rocking. They were always up
we
there.
were up there every night.
Yeah.
3-4, 3-2, 3-0. I worked with the Magnet.
Were you on?
Johnny Mac.
That's right.
Did you have to go up there for that? What was that, Kiki? Remember Kiki in Washington Heights?
Yeah, we made a killing up there.
That was remember that drug dealer?
Kiko Garcia, yeah.
Kiko Garcia got killed in the
Michael
hallway.
O'Keefe. Yep.
3-day riots.
Oh, that was
Turning
great.
police cars over. That was a time in the
crazy.
'80s, man. That was some.
Yeah.
That was some time to, especially to come on the job, because I was still in Astoria doing, whiling out while you were on the job.
Oh, all right. What year did you graduate?
85. So 86 was like my
Right.
86, 87. You're 19, 20. You think you're insane, just doing crazy shit. You were already on the job.
Yeah.
So how did you become a detective?
I went to, I was down in, well, when I went to the task force, they have a subdivision called auto larceny.
Yeah, I remember.
So I went to auto larceny, and I was in auto larceny for about 2 years. Made a load of collars, a bunch of GLAs. And then I was down at court one day, and the CO called me up. He goes, hey, you want to do an interview for RIP? So I go, yeah, all right. He goes, all right, come on back. And
The RIP is the robbery unit, right?
yeah. So he goes, come on back. We got to do, get all your points together. They got this career path where you got to have a certain amount of points. And it turned out I was like 2 points short. So he was like, oh, man, you're 2 points short. And then I remembered, like a couple of months before that, I had a bribery collar up in a 3-4, and you get points for that. So he goes, oh, you got a bribery collar? That's 2 points. You good.
You're in.
So I got granted the interview.
Okay.
So
Had nothing to do with you swabbing the floors.
no, it was that bribery collar
okay,
that got
cool.
me. I forget how many points. You remember how many
Well, you know
points
what?
it was?
remember.
I'm always fascinated by bribery collars. So tell me what happened with that.
Oh, we were on patrol. We were at TPO. We were on.
At time, place of occurrence.
we were on routine patrol, and
It's always routine patrol.
up in the 3-4, like you could pick the drug buyers out like a freaking shooting fish in a barrel. You see the guy walking down the block, So we see this guy walking down the block, and he gets into another car with 2 other white guys on.
You're in the task force now?
Yeah, we were
Or
in
an auto larceny?
auto larceny.
Okay.
So we see him get in the back seat of a car with 2 other white guys facing the Harlem River Drive on like 178th Street. Like the entrance is like right
The
down the block.
GW, right?
Yeah, so I pull up alongside him and I see the guy shifting in the back because he already saw us coming, right? So I go to the back, I rip him out of the car, and I go, Well, I asked him to step out of the car. So,
Very gently.
so he gets out of the car. Well, look, back there, that's all it was over there, you know? So it was like nobody really cared, you know? Nobody was looking for 250s or anything like that.
250s, you mean a stop, question, and
Yeah.
fiscal report.
Plus, we knew where the guy. We saw him coming out of the building. We know the building. So he gives it up. He's got an 8-ball. The guy that I grabbed was on lunch from Lilco, a nuclear power plant in Long Island. He just came from lunch to buy Coke.
Yeah, of course.
So now he's like...
He's got to rush back.
Yeah, he's only got a certain amount of time. He's got to get back
He
to Long
timed
Island.
it. Yeah.
So I bring him up to the precinct, and he's like, we're in the bathroom. He's got to urinate. So he goes, listen, I'll do anything. What do you want me to do, man? I go over my girlfriend's house. I'll have her throw the money down out the window. We don't even have to go inside. How much you want? So I told my partner, Kenny, he remembers Kenny, what was going on. Kenny goes, call IAB. So I never did it before, so I called IAB, and they were interested. They come up, they wired me up.
Internal affairs.
Yeah, so then they go, all right, go back in the bathroom.
Were they dressed in rat uniforms?
They had the cheese heads.
Jeez.
They were Packer fans. So the guy goes, the detective goes, or was a sergeant, he goes, go back in the bathroom and get him to repeat it. So I went back in, and the guy repeated the whole thing.
How long was the guy in the bathroom?
No, it was, I just brought him in to urinate, and then I put him back in the cell. And then when the sergeant wired me up, he goes, bring him back to the bathroom.
So you could talk in private.
Conversation again. You know?
So you could talk in private,
Yeah.
right?
So then I got it again, and then
So you brought him in there, and you were like, so what were you telling me before? How much you want to give me?
I was like, yeah, what's going on? I mean, I go, listen, I just talked to my partner, keep this on the down low. It's just between us, you know what I'm saying? And he goes, all right, what do you want? He goes, I could give you $250 right now, and then we could go to Eastchester Road in the Bronx. I get the rest of the money off my girlfriend. And it all came out beautiful. It was like we're talking right now. So then I charged him with the bribery.
How much was it you supposed to get?
It was like $250 and another $250 when we got there.
That was cheap, man.
Yeah.
For your job, that was
Yeah.
cheap.
Yeah, but you know what?
I'll give up a $60,000 a year job for $500.
No, but he was worried.
Yeah, but it sounds reasonable though. I mean, 500 is not a lot. And if you come to work and you split $250 a day, if you can make $250 a day on the side, right?
Yeah, but he was worried about because he's going to lose his he's got some kind of bonding from the to work at the plant, and he was going to lose his job.
Of course he was. That sucks. You know the outcome of that?
About his job or the court case? I don't even know either. No,
All right.
it
Good.
never went to court, so he probably pled out.
Yeah. I don't know. You hate to, especially now in today's climate when we see what, the reality is of drugs and, other than making a big deal out of it, what are they actually doing? And who hasn't driven in from Long Island to score coke in Washington Heights? Let's be honest here.
Oh, yeah, and what you call it is New Jersey, too.
Oh, yeah, they used to
used
come
to
in all the
get a
time.
lot
That's
of
a ground ball because you see the Jersey plates.
Yep.
3 white kids in a Jaguar.
I had a guy one time, it was a Sunday morning, and he came down from New Jersey, and he had 2 little kids in the truck. He was in a pickup truck. So I come around the corner, I see him running from the truck up into the building. So I go alongside of the truck. There's 2 little kids in the truck. I'm like, damn, this guy's an asshole,
Yeah.
So he comes down. Of course, he's packing like an 8-ball. So I go, yo, motherfucker, come over here. So he goes, what's up? I go, what the fuck are you doing right now? He goes, oh, I just came to see my friend. I go, stop jerking me off. So I grilled him right there on the street. I go, listen, I'm taking your kids. It turned out he had weekend visitation for his kids. He's down there buying cocaine from, I think he was from like Hackensack or something.
Right.
And he's got his kids in the car. I go, I'm calling your wife right now. What's her number? He's like this in the middle of the street.
Don't do it.
Like praying. He's like, please don't call my wife. I go, I'm taking the kids away. I'm locking you up right now. The guy was hysterical crying in the street. So then I didn't really have the heart to do it. I go, throw that shit in the sewer over there and get the fuck out of here. And he went and he threw it in the sewer and he left.
Oh, man, that's a
you
great
were a
story.
good guy, man.
I
would have taken him.
I felt bad for. I should have really took him, but I really felt bad for the kids. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that's a freaking disaster.
Yeah.
How much did you
You know,
cost
if
them
you
for
thi-
that 8-ball?
It doesn't. When you're in the zone there, and you're just like, I'll just. You're not even thinking clearly. When you got that type of habit, all you're thinking about is, well, it's more convenient for me to get it now because what's going to happen? I'm going to be home. The kids are going to fall asleep. I'm going to want to take a couple of bumps, watch TV, have a beer. I'm not hurting nobody. And man, I felt bad for that dude. But you know what? And I hope that it worked for him. That you saved him. That he woke up.
Yeah.
The reality is sometimes it doesn't though. They got to.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but you also have to think of the bigger issue of they're supporting the drug trade, which back then was killing people, and drug dealers were killing each other and killing innocent people. Look, there was 129 murders in Washington Heights in 1990.
That 147th Street and Broadway was an open-air drug market there. You could buy keys right in the street.
Yeah, all the way up.
With the lookouts on the roof.
Mofongo.
Mofongo's good stuff, man.
We had another guy that came over. We grabbed him coming out of a building on Thanksgiving. He was from right over the bridge of Fort Lee. We were like, yo, what are you doing over here? He goes, I came to get cranberry sauce. We ran out of cranberry sauce. I was like, oh.
Fort Lee is totally out. The Heights has loads of it.
I was dying. I laughed right in his face. I know he was holding.
That's funny. That is funny, man.
I didn't even search him. I was like, all right.
That's a great story,
Happy
man. I'm letting you go.
Yeah. Sometimes if you get a good story, like fucking, you earned it, man.
One time there was a guy in the 2-8 that had the elephantitis legs, and I said, dude, you got to stop doing heroin. And jokingly, I said, you should switch to crack. He goes, that shit's dangerous. And meanwhile, this guy had legs that are going to have to be amputated probably in about 2 weeks.
How the fuck does that happen?
Infection. It just blows up.
I had a guy on, you remember Edgecombe Avenue?
Yeah.
Up in the 3-4? Mm-hmm. It was like the stolen car capital of the world. You would go over there and say, yo, Mark, I need a pair of rims for my Altima. And he would go out and he would get an Altima, bring back the car, take the rims and sell them to you. So you start out at 4 o'clock, there'd be like one car there. By midnight, there's like fucking 7 cars lined up,
my God.
missing hoods, doors, and all this shit. So me and my partner were going down Edgecombe Avenue one day. We get this guy in this old car, and it's tilted back like this. He's loaded. The whole trunk is loaded with alternators and starters and everything. So we had the computer. So he runs the plate. He comes back stolen. So we pull the guy out of the car. This old black guy looked like he hadn't taken a bath in about 6 months, right? He was nasty. He had one of those ulcers on his leg.
Yeah.
Where he was shooting heroin into it. So I told my partner.
Why would you shoot it in the ulcer?
Because I guess your veins collapse and
that's what happens.
you got to find different places.
Yeah, but right in the ulcer?
Well, that was what it was from. I don't know if he was still actually shooting it in that area, but he had this big ball of pus on the side of his leg.
I can smell it right now.
So, like, I'm a collar guy. I like collars and stuff. So I told my partner, I go, listen, if you're taking this, you driving the car and you're printing them, I'll help you with the voucher and the paperwork. I'm not touching this guy. So we were like, see you later, guy.
Let him go.
And my partner was like, oh, we put it on the computer. It's a stolen car. I was like, got to roll the dice on this one, man. I ain't touching that guy.
Yeah. Sometimes it's, oh, man, I was in the projects once. We were doing a warrant hit, and we went into this apartment. We ran everybody there. The guy we were looking for wasn't there. We came up empty. We're going back to, we're leaving now. I see this guy come off the elevator. He's got a hoodie on. So I said, yo, my man, I wanted to show him the picture. And he just kept walking. I said, come over here. He turns around and he comes over. When he starts coming over, he looks like death, bro. He looks like walking death. He just looks sick.
Oh, yeah.
Scabby. He's just real bad. So I look at my partner, we're like, and I go to show him the warrant. He goes, yeah. And he starts talking. He said, all right, it's all right, bro. We're going to go. I said, you all right, man? What do you got, the HIV? The HIV? He says, nah, man, I got this new shit. I said, what?
It's new shit.
He goes, yeah, doctors don't even know what it is yet. He goes, I got bugs crawling in and out of me. And then he lifts up the arm, his sleeve, and he's got a scab there. And you could actually see, they're not microscopic anymore. These tiny little bugs are going in and out of his, they're really, really tiny.
Wow.
But they're going in and out of an open wound. And I was like, oh, okay, all right, bro. Good luck, man. Take care. He goes, and then he's like, I got some information for you. And I was like, yeah, come by the precinct. Meanwhile, we didn't even work in that precinct. You know what I'm saying?
He's inviting him in.
I'm in the warrant squad.
He's not going to be.
Yeah.
I'm in the warrant squad. I said, yeah, and I'm pressing the button. You know how long it takes an elevator to come up. I'm pressing the button. It's not coming, and we just ran down the stairs, 15 flights. That's how scared we were.
Oh my God,
that's nasty. That's the worst thing. You don't want to bring that stuff home to you, to your family and stuff. My partner went down on a needle. We were tossing a guy on the gas station on 127 and 2. And he put the guy on the wall, and he went right down in his pocket, and it was a needle sticking up like this right in his hand.
That's a whole thing, because now you gotta go.
HIV test.
And you can't tell. The guy doesn't have to reveal if he's got it. You got to get like a court order to see if this guy's got the bug. At the time, I don't know if.
Yeah.
Never heard it called the bug.
He's got the bug. What you described was the bugs.
I got the new shit.
Bug, yeah.
Oh, shit.
Bed bugs.
I one time running down the stairs of the projects, slipped on the stairs and fell in 3 inches of piss on my back.
Yeah, that sucks.
Right
too.
on my back.
I think I might have done that.
That was
Why does it sound
nasty,
familiar?
man.
But I don't think I was working at the time.
That was nasty.
We had a guy that used to go around. He was in anti-crime. He was about 400 pounds. So one time he saw a guy pissing in the street. He goes, yo, what are you doing over here? There's a beautiful elevator right in there. And he points to the building.
Oh, shit.
That guy used to destroy every front seat of every RMP in the 2-3, right?
Yeah, he had the milk crates behind the seats.
He couldn't handle his weight.
He'd break it. Yeah, he'd break the
He was
seat
banned.
eventually, right?
He got banned from the cars after a while, right?
You know, I always wondered about the projects elevators and why there's always piss in it. And I had a theory that a lot of times people were lazy to walk their dogs. So they would just stick the dog in the elevator and press 1, and the dog would piss in the elevator and come back up.
It's disgusting, right?
Yeah, that's true, too. But a lot of humans piss.
Yeah, a lot of times it was people that didn't even live there. They were selling drugs in the projects, and they just pissed in the elevator.
Or they go up on the roof. You're walking around on the roof. It's like
God.
a minefield with dog shit. You know?
Human shit.
Yeah, that too.
Oh, man, this fucking
They used to
roof.
put their pit bulls up on the roof, remember?
I don't know how those housing guys did it, man. If I would have gotten housing, I would have put it in my book that I checked. What do they call that? A vertical?
A vertical.
I would have, vertical done
They
at
don't
this
even
time,
want
but
them.
I'm not
They don't
doing
even
it.
want them doing verticals anymore.
It's an accident waiting to happen in a tight compartment.
Some cop in Brooklyn shot a guy doing a vertical a couple of years ago. A Chinese cop.
They charged
Yeah,
him,
he got nervous.
He got locked up.
And the fucked up thing about that was the bullet didn't actually hit him. It was a ricochet, a wicked ricochet.
Yeah,
like they said, it would never happen again. Like it was some 1 in a million times and then where the bullet hit the guy too was like in an artery. That's the only reason why he died.
But there was no lighting either. Like those hallways are grimy. Those staircases, it's all graffiti, piss, and poo-poo all over the place, right? No lights. So the kid got scared. He heard the door open up, and he fired a couple of rounds. Or he fired 1 round.
Yeah, you can't be that scared, though.
There was a cop one time in a 2-0 that fired a shot at the CO and the ICO. They were doing an unannounced, and they came to a burglary unannounced in plain clothes. They popped out the door. He fired a shot at them. Luckily, he missed them, but...
That happened in the 2-3 one time with street crime and 2-3 anti-crime.
Oh, yeah, they shot each other,
They
right?
had a shootout with each other.
Oh, my God.
Someone got hit bad, too, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of accidents like that, man. Before I even got on the job, I remember there was this kid who used to work out of my gym. He got on the job, and everybody's really happy for him. Real good-looking kid, blonde kid. And he was going up the stairwell, and whoever he was working with shot him from behind. It went through his, his hamstring, his glute, out the front. It was a time in a bag. He couldn't.
Oh, man.
It's fucked up for a young kid. And an accident like that, stupid shit.
You know what's fun? Not funny, but how commonplace gunfire was to us when we were on the job. Every night, just about, you'd hear gunfire, And, that's when there were hundreds and hundreds of shootings.
I remember
right?
going to a homicide that I thought I was going to have to catch. I was working with another detective, but that guy was useless. And he was already fucked up a homicide. So my boss that I was working with, we were on our way to a suspicious DOA, and while we're walking in the doorway, he goes, "If this guy's suspicious, you're gonna have to catch this. I can't give it to that other guy." I was like, "All right," even though I wasn't up next. I was like, "All right, no problem." So we go up there. It turns out it was just a junkie who fell on his face. But while we were going in the building, all you hear is pop, 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 pop. So we're like, "Fuck." It's in our command. It's not that far away. So then he goes, okay, this guy doesn't look suspicious. Barbara Butcher came.
Right.
She pulled his head up off the floor. She goes, nah, he just fell on his face. Fucking pops. Because, your whole face gets smashed in. He was a big guy who was a junkie with this huge barrel gut, right?
Right.
It's just, when you rock back and forth, that top heavy, he just went over, but he landed right in his face. Bah! He picks up his face, looks at it, and then she just dropped it. The noise at the face.
Pop.
Oh, my God.
It wasn't a big drop, but anyway, but yeah, it's I forget the fucking point of that, but oh, so the shooting. So then I caught both of them. It turns out that wasn't that person wasn't likely either. It was just a bullet in the ass. But so how did you get up to the squad, Detective Pat?
Like I said, that whole thing with the bribery.
Oh yeah. You got the points.
Yeah, I got the points, and I was granted an interview for Rip.
Okay.
So then I went down to 1PP, and I went in a room with a panel of bosses, and they interviewed me for about, I don't know, a half hour, 40 minutes. And the one thing that they caught me on was that they saw a pattern with my sick time. Because I used to go admin like after every swing or before a swing. So I'd get 4 days off.
Of course. Of course you would.
And then
administrative sick, for those who don't know, it's a 2-day thing. You don't you call you didn't have, if you weren't admin, you didn't have to call up for the second day, and then they changed that. But it was in lieu of going sick and going regular sick, which meant that now I'm going to have to go see the district surgeon. You're probably going to get more than 2 days off. You probably get the whole set, which is 5 days. But it's the pain in the ass of actually going to see the surgeon and sitting there for 2-3 hours, as opposed to just grabbing 2 days on the end of a swing.
Right, but we had a guy, he actually taught me. He knows the guy, the tall guy that we used to work with. He goes, what he would do is he would go admin, so he'd get the first 2, and then on the third one, he would call up and roll it into a regular, so he gets the whole week off.
Yeah, I used to do that too. Yeah, I get that.
So I started doing that too.
I used to do that too.
It's like 3 extra weeks off a year,
Well, the way it is,
and they caught that pattern on Detective Pat.
Yeah,
of course you didn't do that until you were
because
capped
what happens
out,
is, if you had a good district surgeon, you were going to get the whole set. But if you had a district surgeon that was a prick, you could go sick one day, he'll give you the second day and put you back on the third in the middle of your set. So that's if you went regular. So you made sure you got the 2 and plus the third by going regular.
Yeah. And
you went admin first, then you went regular.
And you could walk in. Mine was in the 5-0. You were in the 5-0?
Yeah.
District 4 or whatever it was. You could walk in there, and the whole room was full of cops. And you could pick out who the scammers are. Because half of them are scamming. They're trying to get 3/4, trying to get the rest of the week off. They got a wedding Saturday or some crap,
It's
right?
like the land of broken toys. You walk in, one guy's got a neck brace on, a girl's in a crutch, somebody's got a broken arm, a cast, an eye patch, you name it. They're
then
all
you see
in
the
there.
guy leaving. He's ripping all that shit off, getting in his car outside.
You get better and better the closer you get to your car.
He joins a pickup hoop game in front of the precinct.
Actually, it's like that movie. Remember Usual Suspects?
Yeah.
At the end, when he starts getting better, or his walk starts straightening out. What's the guy's name? Kevin Spacey.
Spacey, yeah.
At the end, his walk starts straightening out after the whole court case thing. He's let go, and he just starts, and he's 100% fine by the end. That's exactly how you get on the walk to your car.
Yeah.
You rip the neck brace off. The crutch goes thrown in the trunk.
Reminds you of that mobster.
Till the next time you got to come back in 3 weeks.
Reminds you of that mobster from The Village. Remember that guy from?
Vinny the Chin.
Gigante.
He spent his whole life doing that.
Yeah.
I mean, the cops are only doing it for a couple of weeks. This guy did it for his whole life.
Yeah, whenever he wanted to go for a walk, he threw the robe on.
Yeah, or when he was on trial.
That's right.
You know?
He pretended he was nuts, right?
Yeah, Vinny the Chin. I just saw the movie Gotti. And it was panned. It was like, everybody was like, it's the worst movie ever. I didn't think it was the worst movie ever. I mean, it was good. It was this good that I actually watched half of it or 3/4 of it the night before. And the next day, I said, let me finish watching it. It's not like I gave it up. There's a lot of stupid scenes in it. There's one scene where John Gotti, played by John Travolta, is talking to the guy, Della Croce.
Della Croce, yeah.
Yeah. And the guy's like, you're going to have a meeting with the 5 boroughs, Manhattan, Brooklyn. It's like, dude, you're talking to a fucking New Yorker. He lives on Cross Bay Boulevard. You don't have to tell him what the 5 boroughs are.
Yeah.
It's just stupid writing. Manhattan, Queens, Brooklyn. Did I leave one out? Oh, yes. It's like, it's so, anyway.
But, they always tried to make Gotti look like he was this higher than thou mob boss, when really he was a fucking thug.
Oh, the people loved him.
Yeah, but he was such a thug.
I used to work
citizens of Howard Beach loved him. You had that party.
I used to work the 4th of July detail, because when I was in the 102 and then when I was in the task force, that was a big day, man. It was hot dogs, hamburgers, beer. You get a T-shirt, a hat for hours on him, and then they'd have the fireworks.
Were
show.
you the headliner comic at that?
No. I wasn't doing comedy yet.
No, but the cops didn't give a shit either, right?
No, but you couldn't. I mean, he had that was
The politicians.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah, they were all.
What are you gonna do? There's
Well,
thousands of people there.
They did
Well,
shut
don't
it
you need
down
a permit
eventually.
to do that?
Yeah, they did shut it down eventually. They did.
Well,
they
there's a
could-
scene in Gotti where
Yeah.
they do.
Yeah.
But
was a-
he
there
used
was-
to have the same exact people that were doing the Macy's Fireworks Day parade, doing
Really?
that one.
The
Howard
Grucci's
Beach, yeah.
from Long Island. They're from Bellport, Long
Yeah,
Island. Yep.
that was some day.
Yeah, but the thing is with him is they actually killed a guy, the wrong guy too, that ran over his kid or something like that.
I don't think it was the wrong guy they killed.
Oh,
Oh, it was an accident. It was an
was an
accident.
accident.
And they
No,
killed the guy. Yeah.
the guy ran over his boy. That's another stupid
But it
scene
was
in the
an
movie.
accident, yeah.
Because in the boy in the
okay.
movie is going really slow down the street, and they make it seem like this guy who hit him just was not paying attention. But the kid was probably going a little faster than that.
Yeah.
Right.
He darted out right in the movie Gotti with Amon DeSante, the kid on the bike. Gotti's son darts out into the middle of the street, and the guy can't help but hit him. But I always understood that the problem was that he wouldn't move. In the movie, they say, "Oh, he hasn't fixed the dent on his car yet. Look at how many months it's been." But I think they wanted the guy just get the fuck out of here, sell the house and move. And the guy wouldn't move. He's lived like for the rest of my life. I'm going to see you, and you killed my kid. Everybody was telling the guy you should move.
Yeah, but the guy, you know how people are. People get established; they don't want to move.
They probably would have found him.
If this guy was Billy was beefing with this guy over here, and the guy said, "Listen, you got to move." You don't.
I don't know where I
move.
read it either. I read it somewhere, or it was part of the original movie with Amon DeSante. But the guy was told he should probably move, and from what I read in the book, it wasn't really so much him; it was the wife that wanted him out.
Who were the guys that did they murdered the wrong guy? Was that the two detectives? They killed the guy, right?
Which
All
one?
those two detectives for hire.
Yeah,
Those two
were
guys?
they down with Gotti, or I'm thinking of something
It was
else?
probably something to do with that. They were connected somehow.
Ippolito and Caracappa?
Yeah, didn't they kill a guy in the Belt Parkway who was the wrong guy or something?
They may
I
have.
remember them. Yeah, that was one of the things they were charged for.
I remember those guys. They worked in Manhattan robbery
Yeah.
when they first came on the job. And it was like they were doing hits for the mob, two detectives. And
Well,
the one guy wrote a book, and he praised how great the mob
Either
was.
they killed
Ippolito.
the wrong guy, or they gave the guy the e-justice.
Well, he was in the movie
wrong.
Goodfellas. Wasn't he?
Ippolito?
Yeah, wasn't he sitting by the bar?
He may have been.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't remember.
in the one other episode, Detective Pat had a big part in the Rios murder. We got to tell that story.
Yeah, we're not done here. yet.
Yeah, we're not done, Mo, but we're
We're
going
gonna
to have
take
to
a
go
break.
to another
we're
episode.
Gonna, we're gonna have some more tea, right? You're gonna make some tea.
Yeah,
This
sure.
is the move right now.
That's right. More tea.
Yeah, we don't smoke pot on this podcast.
Nah,
but
we don't
have
do
tea.
that shit. We're still on the job, not unofficially, right?
Well, we don't smoke it here at this table
No,
in the
no,
room here.
no.
This is your house.
They're in my house.
We wouldn't disrespect
You know,
it that way.
Mark was talking about having some thugs come on the show. I go, we ain't having the show at my house if they come.
No,
we gotta have it do it
listen,
somewhere else.
You think of everything. You know what I'm saying? You're like, what can we do to make it this? But whatever we do, we can't make it any better than this.
We'll do it
We
at
gotta-
Lucy's. We'll have it at Lucy's. We'll bring
It's
some
never going to
bad
get any
guys.
better than having Detective Pat here.
We'll have it
Detective
at
Pat
Ray-
is the
Let's have it
man.
at Rails.
Yeah, why not? All right, so we're going to take a break right now. We're going to come back with a fresh episode. We're going to hear about the Rayos. Rayos.
He's got a lot of stories,
Rayos
man.
collar. And we're going to, in the meantime, we're going to grab some tea.
Cool it.
All right.
Western